Happy Black History Month, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, Boomer and the Millennial.
That's right, Armondi, and on this episode, we have a lot to cover. Aside from it being a month to celebrate Black history and the impact that it's had on everything, it's also the start of an election year, and change may or may not be on the horizon. We'll have to wait and see.
That's true. Football is done. Baseball is back. Speaking of change, Formula One is about to look a whole lot different this year and next year.
In our entertainment section, with the Oscars just weeks away, we'll review some of the contenders for Best Picture. And in the What We're Watching segment, we ask the question, is love really blind?
Great question. All of that and more on this episode of Boomer and the Millennial.
And I'm Reggie the Boomer.
And I'm Armondi the Millennial, and you know we are back at it like a crack addict as always. What's going on, people? What's going on?
Hey, back together again for the month of February.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.
Everybody, I feel like everybody always talks about how it's Valentine's, month or the month of love, but let's not forget.
Yeah, it's Black History Month. And I know this is dropping right at the end, but hey, this year we got an extra day. So
this is true. Leap year. Come on.
Got an extra day.
They already gave us the shortest month of the year. So, hey.
Well, now, some people say they didn't give it to us. It was Carter G. Woodson, but he came up with it. And maybe it was because he felt like the argument was, hey, it is the shortest month because it started out. Actually, it started out as a week.
Okay,
so,
yeah, that's right.
It was a week in February, right? So I think it was part of, Christmas and everything being over, first of the year. And then, it became a month. Just happened to start in the month of February when it was a week. So there you go. A little Black history.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, we don't have much to provide, but we do have that.
No.
So
but here's the thing, that for the last 2 years, I have purchased the Ebony Magazine Black History Month calendar.
Okay.
And it's got Black History Month for every single day of the year.
Oh, nice.
And I wanted to just share a couple of dates with you. First of all, for those of you who may not know, this year in February marks the 50th anniversary of Good Times.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's
okay.
Yeah,
iconic show. Iconic Black show.
Dynamite. Yeah. So it's still on. Right?
That's
but
true.
Hold on for a second.
Okay.
Okay. I had to go take the calendar down off the wall.
I see that.
Yeah. And on February the 8th,
okay,
in 1974, Good Times premieres on national television.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I do have a Good Time story. Back in, some years ago, produced a show called PowerPoint, and it was a national call-in show on public radio dealing with African-American issues from an African-American perspective. And we booked a lot of guests, from Nina Simone. I mean, we did a live tag up with Space Shuttle, right? And one of the shows we had was, and I think it was a milestone for Good Times. It might have been the 30th anniversary. I can't remember. But anyway, we had John Amos, who is the dad on Good Times, and we had him scheduled. And it just so happened it was also Super Bowl weekend in Atlanta. This was the Super Bowl weekend where we had this huge ice storm. So anyway, John Amos said he was coming to the studio. He knew where the studio was. And so it was going to be an hour with him. So this was like, people could call in and ask questions.
Yeah.
And so he called at the last minute saying because of the ice and stuff, he couldn't get to the studio and he was just going to hunker down in his room. And so we just had to extend the guests from the first hour to second hour, right? So as we were packing up to leave, we normally would watch the evening news as we packed up because we had a TV monitor in the studio. And sure enough, we had the iconic Monica Kaufman at the time. Now she's Monica Pearson, but the iconic news anchor here in Atlanta. And she was talking about her experience at the Super Bowl. And she said, and I had such a great time, and sitting right behind me was John Amos from Good Times. We were like, what? So John Amos, if you hear this, we remember. We remember. I think he's still alive.
That
Yeah,
is
he's still.
hilarious.
It's like
I'm like, where's this story going? That
I
is
was
so
like,
funny.
and for boomers, it takes a minute to get to the story. So I
Yeah,
just
yeah, I
just
was
wanted
holding
you
on there
to know, right? Yeah.
on
You
this
want to know?
podcast.
You want to know? Well, you can't. Just don't do that. This is Black History
Don't
Month.
do what?
See,
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're
your
right.
look,
You're
your
right.
look
It's
was
Black
like,
History
oh,
Month. Okay,
see,
yeah,
that's what's
because this
wrong.
is
That's
exactly
what's
what
wrong.
this is exactly what everybody wants to hear is more facts about Black History Month. So you're right.
Yeah, I mean,
Keep
so
them coming. Keep them coming.
yeah, I mean, it's like you got like, oh no, it's no wonder it's February. If it was up to you, it'd be Black History Day. It's like, I'm
That's not
tired.
true.
I'm
I'm just
tired.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Well, here's one, and this is a good one because this relates to you.
Okay.
Maybe this is prophetic. I don't know, but on this, your birthday is September 20th. On September 20th in 2020, Tyler Perry gives acceptance speech at the Emmys. So there he won an Emmy. So there you go. Maybe that's prophetic.
Okay. Yeah,
CNN
man.
TV.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
come on.
I'm just
Okay,
saying.
maybe.
See,
Yeah. Okay.
you didn't
Makes
want to
sense.
hear it. You
Yeah,
didn't want to
you're
hear
right.
it.
I
So
did, but I'm so glad I did. So glad I did.
and on my birthday this year, which is already passed, but January the 9th,
Uh-huh.
oh wow, I didn't know this.
Okay.
Phi Beta Sigma is founded on Howard University.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
so that's blue and white, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you don't know, yep. If you
Yeah.
don't know,
One of the
well, now
Divine
you know.
Nine. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
not the best because we know the best is '06. Anyway. So oh yeah, they were founded in 1914. So of course
Okay.
the first Black Greek organization was founded in 1906. I'm just saying. They
Okay.
came out 7 years later.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Okay.
so there we go. A Black History Month segment, right?
Mhm.
So what do you think of that?
Oh, I enjoyed that. That was great. That was
Yeah.
great. We need to know more about our history. So, I feel like more and more as time goes on, Black History Month sort of gets swept under the rug or kind of goes
Yeah.
under the radar. So,
Well,
this is
well,
good. This is
yeah. Well,
good.
I will say that if you're interested in purchasing the calendar, because we don't get any proceeds, though it would be great if we did. But you can find it on Amazon. It's the Ebony Magazine Black History Month calendar. It's very great. It's a great thing because every day, and look, I've had it now. This is the second year, and it's not a duplication. So that just goes to show you that every single day you're making history.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
it's a great, it's a
Love
great thing
that.
to have. So just putting that out there. Checking in, new job. You want to talk about that?
It's not a new job. I still work
Well,
at
promotion,
Starbucks.
promotion.
Yes, I did technically,
Okay.
as of recently get a promotion. Yes, I am now the newest shift supervisor at the Starbucks here, one of the Starbucks here in downtown Denver. Yeah, so that's cool. You know what I mean? It's more money, it's more hours, more
Yeah.
responsibility, of course, but I mean, I have
Right.
great other shifts who I've sort of worked with at this store who, I will be asking questions and leaning on for advice and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
I'll go through training and everything, but yeah, so it's cool. It's cool.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations. I can't wait.
thank you.
In about a month or so, we'll be heading down to see
Yeah, yeah, excited
you and
to have you guys
yeah.
come. Yeah, we got to figure out, everything that we have going on. We got options, but I think after you talk to Armondi and everything, we'll kind of solidify some
Yeah.
things and tell us what you want to do. As we're figuring out as we're getting closer, so we can, if
Oh
there's
yeah, yeah.
specific
Well,
things that.
your mom wants to go tubing
Yeah, I
down
know
the
that's a
side of
big
a
thing.
mountain. So
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, the mountains are a huge thing that we have here in
yeah,
Colorado. So
not
yeah,
skiing, but
well,
tubing
yeah.
down the bunny slope is what
Yeah,
it amounts to.
right. Well, I'm sure it's a lot less dangerous than skiing or
Oh,
snowboarding,
very
which is
good.
something that I want to do.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
fun.
like I
It's
kind of
fun.
yeah, and I personally and honestly, I really want to get like invested in it. Like I really want to if we're gonna be here in Colorado, like really want to like learn, get my own snowboard, like really like give it effort. It's just expensive. So,
It's like golf.
yeah, I mean,
It's an
which is also
expensive
something
thing.
that like I think once it warms up, I'm gonna try to get back out and really get better and work on my game. Yeah, I've been watching, I watched the Waste Management Open and everything a couple weeks ago, and yeah, so I just, I miss golf, but that's beside the point. But yeah, how are you? How are things with you and everything? Did you have a good Valentine's Day, which did also happen this month?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Had my physical,
Okay,
so I got some things to work on and some tests and stuff like that. So hey, when you get my age, that's just par for the course.
I see.
So,
At least
but
you're trying
other
to stay active and stay healthy.
yeah, your mom and I went to work out this morning or
Nice.
this afternoon or
There
early
you go.
afternoon. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there
So
you
we're
go.
trying to do this thing. I did have one thing. I don't know. It just came to my mind. One evening we were listening to a song. I think it was actually on TV,
Okay.
and it's a song
Uh huh.
that boomers will recognize, and
Okay.
it's "Blinded by the Night" by the Manfred Mann Band. I didn't even know that.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You know the song?
Yeah, yeah, but it I always thought it was blinded
Blinded.
by the I thought it was blinded by the light, not night.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? The
That's
lyrics
crazy.
has always been, and
Blinded by the night,
well,
revved up like a douche, right?
no, well, let's see.
Or deuce?
It,
Is it deuce? It
it's
sounds
it's
like douche.
it's it's but you're right. It's blind. It's see, that's what I mean. It is
Yeah.
actually blinded by the light, but it's the most probably confused lyrics of
Wait,
any, particularly back in the '70s when
s
everybody was listening, because it says everybody thought it was wrapped up like a douche.
yeah,
It's like
which is a very weird thing to say for
right.
sure.
It's like
So,
yeah, it was like wrapped up like a douche. That's what
yeah,
we would always sing that. And
yeah,
so your mom was like, that doesn't make any sense. And we're like, well, I know what a douche is,
yeah,
and it's not,
exactly. That's
that's
why I was
like,
like, yeah, no,
but it's not wrapped up. It's like you said, it's
revved
revved
up.
up
Yeah, because
like
it's supposed
a deuce
it's supposed to be like a car, like a
race
motorcycle, one of
car.
the 2.
It's
Yeah,
a
okay,
race car.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's
But I didn't
revved
learn
up.
that until, like, 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, right, right. But
Yeah, yeah,
everybody just been singing it,
yeah.
and it's revved up like a
Like a
deuce.
deuce. Something Romer
Another
in the night,
something.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
yeah.
it's
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
dun,
So
dun.
that's the lights from the car going fast or
Yeah,
something
I
like that.
see.
So that's
Blinded
blinded
by
by
the
the light. And
lights,
I
revved
used to say
up like
blind
a deuce, Romer in the
right.
night. Yeah, it's
Revved
a
up
good
like
one.
a yeah.
It's a
So
good one.
I just didn't know. I mean, if join us at boomandmillennial.com. Leave us a comment about songs that you have messed up the lyrics, because I do it all the time.
Yeah.
And thanks to Google, we're able to go in and say, "Oh,
Oh, this
that's
is
what
what I've
it's
been
saying."
supposed to be
Yeah,
saying the whole time.
yeah. Like Bob
Right.
Marley's song, "Don't Worry, Be Happy." It's actually called Three Little Birds, and nobody calls it that, right? But it
Right. That's
starts off
facts.
three little birds at my,
Right.
doorstep, and
Right.
they're telling him, "Don't worry, be happy." But
Right.
somewhere in
Yeah.
along
Definitely
the
must have been
lines,
high.
it did. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey, mom, don't
Okay.
worry. Be
Yeah,
happy.
exactly.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
And then
Some
they say,
birds told you. Yeah.
right?
That's yep.
They say, "Hey, mom, you need to write a song about us."
Yeah. Next thing you know,
Oh,
it's a
speaking,
hit. Yeah,
and
go ahead.
this is this is part of the entertainment section, but the Bob Marley
Yeah, the
movie
One Love
premiered.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one premiered on February 14th. I hadn't heard much about how it did, and I hope it did well. But we had talked about maybe going to see it while
Yeah.
we're out to visit you guys. So
Yeah. We'll see if it's still in theaters. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, just to close out our check-in, unfortunately, on a sad note, this is the anniversary of your cousin, and I
No.
guess cousin, yeah, Tiana, when she was tragically killed last year this time by a crazy gunman. So we continue to struggle with gun related violence. It continues, unfortunately, from year to year, and we just want to take a second just to recognize Tiana, and we talked about her being 9 years old and still having a legacy. she's left a legacy. There's a foundation called Yaya Strong,
Yeah.
that's been set up by your Uncle Paul and the family, and they are affecting change as it pertains to the homeless, because that was her thing. She really believed in feeding people and had a heart for helping the homeless. So that's what the foundation is doing primarily. So we just want to say thank you to our podcast family for
Yeah.
all of the thoughts and prayers, particularly a year ago when we went through this. Just thought I'd kind of bring that up.
Yeah.
But anyway, as we look past last, I guess our last episode was sort of a reflection of 2024. And now we're
You mean
well,
2023?
2023, yeah. And
Yeah.
now we're well into 2024, a couple of
Yeah.
months, and man,
Yeah.
things are happening, boy. I tell you.
Yeah, but
You know.
yeah, come on. Let's talk about these current events because I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanna speed through this so we can talk about more pressing matters like Love Is Blind.
And
Because
see,
I'm locked in, boy. I'm locked
what see,
in.
that's
Okay,
the problem
with
with
this generation. Yeah. All right.
yes.
Whatever. That's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
Uh huh.
so are you keeping up with the DA Fani Willis and Nathan Wade episode that's going on here in Atlanta? Do you
No.
have any clue as to what's happening?
Well, I mean, expound on that and then maybe. Expound on it and then maybe. Listen, I just more recently started watching the news here in Denver. You also got to understand is like don't have cable. So like getting access to the news, majority of it
Well,
happens on social media. But
well, this has
now,
been all over social media.
well, yeah, that's why I
Okay.
might know what you're talking about, but
So,
I just didn't
Fani
know.
Willis, right, is
Yeah.
bringing the case against Donald Trump
Oh, right.
and
Yes.
15
Okay.
other
Yeah.
people, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
election
Yes.
interference. Well,
Yeah.
now Donald Trump's folk have brought out the case should not proceed because she and Nathan Wade, who was the assistant DA on the case, had a relationship.
Yikes.
And they're trying to say that there's improprieties with that, particular as it pertains to him being paid, them going on
Okay.
trips together.
I see.
He was married, going
I
through a
see.
divorce, and
I
of course
see.
that has nothing to do
No, not really,
with the
but
case.
no.
But
But okay.
it's just been a mess. And
Yeah, I
now,
see.
the latest is that they've traced his Nathan Wade's cell phone activity and
Okay.
location to
Okay.
show that they had a
A
relationship.
relationship and they've been
What
together and that sort of thing.
before the case started, before
I see.
2022, that they
I
had,
see.
they so
I see.
they saw they tracked him, allegedly,
Right.
from his place at like midnight to leaving DA Willis's place like at 4 a.m. in the mornings.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where Trump is clearly trying to pull all the stops that he can in order to, you know,
Oh
make
yeah.
this whole process easier on himself and that sort of thing. So I mean, I'm not surprised, but I don't think it has anything to do with the case itself. So
No, they had a hearing, so his thing is delay, delay, delay,
yeah,
and
exactly. I
I don't
mean,
like what
it's just smoke and mirrors. That's
you know,
really what
and
I feel
so
like it is.
yeah, they had
So
to actually testify to a degree. It wasn't a criminal hearing because in Fonnie Willis, I love what she said about the fact that I am not on trial here.
yeah,
You had a man trying to steal the election; he's on trial,
right.
and so yeah, it's just delay tactic, but it's just
Yeah,
it's been a mess. Nobody airing
yeah.
the dirty laundry of
I mean, of
a
course, it's
relationship.
yeah. Well,
So
that's what politics is, and also just that I'm not surprised. Like this is Trump's mo at times is distraction, distraction, distraction. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens, but I don't think it's. I don't know. I don't see him getting out of all of the
the
mess that
things,
he's
yeah.
in this time. But I mean, hey, stranger things have happened. So
So as we talk about the election, have you thought about? Have you been?
yeah, I mean, I've
Who,
that's a
who,
lot going on because to be honest with you, I mean, let's be honest. Like when you think about Joe, you know,
Mhm.
whew, not necessarily the most capable at running the country.
Why would you? Why do you think that?
Because
Just because of
he's slipping. He's slipping.
yeah?
He
Is
is
that
slipping. Like, okay, I'm not one of those people where I'm like, "Oh, it's necessarily the end of the world currently yet," right? But I mean, let's be honest, like I do see that a lot. I see that a lot on social media and people talking about, sort of President Biden and the concerns about his age
age?
and
Yeah.
sort of, his behavior as a result of, old age. I'm sure stress, let's be honest,
Mhm.
like being president adds years to your, I'm sorry, takes away, doesn't add, it adds stress, which takes away years,
Oh, it could add years. I mean, because you could be
no,
70 and feel like 80.
no. Oh,
Yeah,
true. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
in that regard, then yes. But I
yeah,
mean, for him to have been vice president for 8 years and now president at his age, it's just I feel like it's taking a toll. And when it's one of those where I don't want to get too political. Everyone has
well,
their sort of
yeah.
viewpoint or whatever, and that's fine. But I think it was sort of a lesser of two evils in a sense, some would
So
say.
so what you're saying is that if it gets down to and this is the way it's looking now between
Yeah.
Trump and Biden,
Mhm.
that you would go with Biden, or there's
I'm
probably some
I
third party candidates. Well, I mean,
Yeah, I
what are
mean,
your peers saying? Like, they're not going to vote at all,
well,
or
that's what I mean, that is definitely an option. I'm not saying personally, I'm just saying that that's something that I know. I have friends who choose not to vote,
really,
for their own reasoning. Yeah, I feel like with, not necessarily my generation being a millennial and kind of on the tail end of that, but with the newer generation, I feel like, they're starting to sort of see that it's not just black and white, and there are reasons to vote or not to vote for either candidate, right? And I think, when you're faced with, I don't really think either candidate should be president. I mean, the result would be to not vote, which, I'm not saying is the answer or anything like that, but that is an option that people take. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I we'll see as the as we get closer to election time what I will decide to do. But
Mhm. So let me ask you this: what would need to happen for you to feel better about voting for Biden if Biden is your choice?
I mean, I think if Biden is my choice, I would
I
want
mean,
to
is
see.
there anything he can do between now and
I mean, I don't
November?
know. He's going to continue to age between now and November. So unless, I don't know. That's a great question. I think, oh, you know what? You know what would really help is if he forgave student loans. How about
Well,
that?
he just
How
well
about
now,
that? How about that?
he
He went, look,
yeah,
he
but
wants my vote. If he does that, he'll
but
get my vote. I'll say
well,
that.
he did 150,000. Were forgiven.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
10 years and $12,000 or less were forgiven. But the problem is, see, and I think that's kind of where the disconnect comes, is
Okay.
that
Talk to me.
people feel like he has not done certain things
Yeah.
that he
Okay.
had, but particularly with millennials as far as the student debt. But he tried, and
Yeah.
it was Congress. And here's the thing: if you got Congress and they're Republicans and they vote against it, then you need to
Yeah.
change you need to
Yeah.
change.
That's true. There's only but so much you can do, right?
There's only,
So,
and I think that
yeah.
he's not done that good of a job of saying, look, I did this, this, and this, and they took me to court. They voted against it. So maybe you need to look at who's representing you. If you want your student loans to go away, maybe you need to look at your congressperson, or
True.
your senator. But anyway, but I get it because everything's kind of pinned to him, and he did say that.
Yeah, I mean, he is the face, right? Like,
Yeah,
regardless of what really happens behind the scenes, who's really pulling the strings, because
yeah,
a lot of people don't believe it's him. So, especially with his his I don't want to say mental deterioration, but
No, let's not
some
say
people
that.
think that he's not. Now let me stop. But like, some
No,
people,
no,
I
it's,
mean,
yeah,
hey, look, I'm just keeping it all the way real. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
no.
So some people are like, he's not really the one pulling the strings, and
Well,
I
here's
just
the
tell them,
thing. I mean, because I'm real intrigued by millennials and Gen Xers, and I mean, because to be quite honest, it's the young vote that really made the difference in 2020. So,
yeah,
what I've been hearing too is that a lot of young people are just dissatisfied. They're upset. They don't think that voting even makes a difference,
yeah,
particularly now with Hamas Israeli war that and the atrocities that are happening in Gaza. They're like he's been kind of walking this tightrope, and he's still kind of kowtowing to Israel, and a lot of young
yeah,
people are upset about
yeah.
that.
Man, I mean, it makes
So
sense.
so we'll have to see, how y'all
I mean,
more that he can
I'm not
do.
taking away the things that he has done, but I do
But I
also
get
think
it. Yeah.
maybe there needs to be more of a push of like, hey, these are the things that I have accomplished. Here are some of the setbacks. You think that I'm not doing
Mhm.
anything, but it's really my fight with Congress. It's really these sort of issues that are hindering these things. Instead of seeing more clips of him not being able to formulate paragraphs. So yeah, I don't normally, when we talk about politics and stuff, I don't normally get super involved or talk to say too much. But I'm trying to get better with like keeping up with what's going on. I just started
Yeah, okay.
like watching the news more so now that I
Okay.
have YouTube TV so I can watch the local news. My wife is starting to call me old when she'll like will wake up and she'll go to the bathroom and come back and then I have like the morning news on. Like I feel like I'm you. Like what's the
Like,
weather
oh yeah,
saying?
you like
Like
one of
what's
those like those
yeah,
progressive commercials.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
You like your parents.
It's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta see what's going on. You know what I mean? Now that I can. But yeah, so
Well, that's good because then we can have
more
more
discussions. Yeah.
robust conversations about
Exactly.
this section of the podcast, which most
Exactly.
of the time I'm
It's
kind
you
of
talking, and
driving
I'm like,
the
"Oh, yeah.
discussion.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, is that
sure.
right? Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Listen,
I had no
we-
idea. Yeah.
right.
Okay, that makes sense. That
We're
makes
electing
sense."
somebody this year. What?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I'm trying to do better, guys. I'm trying to do better. I'm sure
Okay.
I'm not
Well,
the best example of a
but no,
millennial who knows what's
you
going
might
on. So
be the example of the millennials. So that's
maybe I don't know.
I
I
think
can only
you're
speak for
more
myself.
of the
So
majority than not. So,
I can only speak for myself.
but anyway,
Yeah. Time to
but
talk
here,
about more pressing things that I do know what's going on. Okay. Come
right,
on. Let's talk about it. Okay. Let's just get since we're moving into sports now, because
yeah,
obviously this is our favorite section, right?
let's get to your wheelhouse here.
Right. Okay, here we go. You know what I mean? We've been talking for about 40 minutes now. I think it's time to really lock in. All right.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
So, let's just get the formalities out of the way. Football is over.
Super
I think for
Bowl,
us personally, we don't really care. If you were
KC, San
yeah,
Francisco.
I mean, and we
It
could
was a
talk
good
about this.
game.
Like,
It was a good
it was a
game. It
great Super Bowl.
went to overtime. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, great game. I think I'm not surprised that the Chiefs won. I mean, I think there were talks about a dynasty even before this win, and even more so now.
right.
But I will say I was rooting for the 49ers. I think they made a mistake
Oh,
giving
taking the
Kansas City the ball first. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, now granted, I think this is the first time with the new overtime rule, so I think people weren't really clear on that. But you dropped the ball on that
Yeah, I
decision,
mean,
if you
but
ask
people get
me.
paid millions to know. So
This is also
you're
true.
right. So
Halftime show, Usher, shout out to him. I think he said he brought the world to the A.
yeah, yeah.
And
He repped the A,
he very
shouted
much
out the A.
did. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought it was good. Alicia Keys could not find them keys in the beginning of her song with him, but it we're not going to take away the greatness that is Alicia Keys.
yeah.
And
My thing was the skating part. That
yeah,
was
well,
good.
I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
that
it
was
took us to
just
the A, right?
yeah.
Right up
That was yeah.
as it coming from, living literally up the street from Cascade, for a bit after getting married, and yeah,
Yeah.
hey, now that football is over, we got baseball is back.
Well, let me just say this about football: the Falcons got a new
Uh,
coach.
yes, yes, finally,
First black full time
yeah, come
coach.
on.
I mean,
Come on.
he was interim
Yeah.
before,
Now
so
we just need a new
shout out
quarterback.
to Raheem, and
Yeah.
the
We're,
guy
you
he's
know, I think we're
bringing.
making moves. I think we're making moves. It hasn't
Well,
happened yet, but
yeah, there are a lot of people talking
hopefully.
about Justin Fields, and
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah,
We'll see what
so
happens. We'll see what happens. Yeah, but we got baseball back.
yeah,
And the
yeah,
Braves are looking
Braves
good. I mean, that's what we expect.
had their first exhibition game.
Yeah.
I think it was yesterday. I don't know
Yeah, they
what the
won
outcome.
7-6.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, they did
Yeah.
win.
Okay.
I will be keeping up. I want to say they come here in May or sometime to play the
Oh, okay.
Rockies. So I want to, I would love for Nia and I to go to a game.
Yeah, you're
So
right
I can.
down from
Oh
Coors
yeah,
Field.
I
You're right
literally can
across the
walk.
street.
Like I
Yeah.
can see it from my building. Like
Oh,
so
wow. Yeah.
that would be great. We could just walk. It'll be warm and nice. And we'll see the Braves probably spank the Rockies because they're not that good. But yeah, we also got college basketball, which right now, getting ready to go into March Madness, which is the only time
I
I
watch it. Yeah.
or tend to care.
Yeah. Are
So
you going to do a bracket this year?
no, probably not. But
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I am glad that I have YouTube TV so I can watch all the games. Like they have this
Oh, wow.
really nice split screen where you'll have 4 different games on at the same time, and you hover over the square to hear the audio, and then you can click on it, and it goes full screen. So I could like kind of keep up with 4 games at the same time, which is pretty cool. But
Okay.
yeah, I remember last year watching March Madness, not really caring.
Yeah. I think that, you get into it. You like to see the Cinderella team, that there's
Yeah,
always one
right.
team
There's
that
always
goes to the
upsets. I mean,
Elite
and
Eight or
it's
something.
right.
Yeah.
Saying all of that, that's great. Now we can talk about a real man sport and the sport that if you are, a competitor, if you are
NASCAR.
are you no, how dare
Oh.
you? No, we are talking about the pinnacle of racing sports, Formula 1, which the season starts next Saturday. Sorry, or
Oh,
next
wow.
or next weekend rather, next
Mhm.
weekend in Bahrain, and they're currently they're testing, and which is it's great, man. Let me tell you something. I'm Drive to Survive. You've heard me talk about it numerous times. The
Mhm.
new season just came out Friday. I'm already 5 episodes in. Already 5 episodes in, locked in. It's very interesting because the great thing about the show is if you watch the season, I didn't watch all of the races, but you get to see, you forget things that happened during the season, and you also
Mhm.
get to see behind the scenes the drama. Whew, man, let me tell you, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on in 2024. Just stuff that happened in 2023, team drama, people getting fired. I mean, a lot of news has happened in the off season. I know a lot of you guys may not be fans, but if you know Lewis Hamilton,
Apparently you are, but
I mean, okay,
I don't
come
know.
on,
But I am
obviously.
too. I am
But
too.
yeah, the biggest
Thanks to
news
you.
in the offseason, Lewis Hamilton, long-time career at Mercedes, 7-time world champion, should have been eighth. And, he makes a little comment about that in the new season of Drive to Survive. He next year he will no longer be with Mercedes and is going to Ferrari, which has been the longest running, or it's the oldest team in Formula One history. So
You
yeah,
think that's going to be the team he retires from?
I think so. I think so because of the amount of years he probably has left. I don't know how many, but I do think that it's one of those things where, he's been with Mercedes. He's won multiple. I mean, he's won 6 out of his 7 championships with Mercedes. And I think Mercedes right now are struggling to sort of get back to the top in regards to competing against Red Bull and Ferrari. Ferrari, I think, has a faster car. I think they had a better car last season. Their
Mhm.
drivers are just they have Charles Leclerc and they have Carlos Sainz, and Carlos Sainz just he's just kind of been on the back burner, and so his seat is getting taken. Lewis sort of sees the potential that Ferrari has to even beat Red Bull, and I think he's taking advantage of that.
So
And
this happens not this season, but
not this
next.
season, but 2025, he will
So
be. Yeah,
how does that affect? I mean, you're driving for Mercedes, but they know you're leaving.
right. Well,
I mean, I
I
guess it's
think
still competitive. So
yeah, and I think the relationship has been so strong with Mercedes over the years that I think there's a level of understanding of Lewis wanting to take this turn in his career, and also understanding that I still drive for Mercedes, and I'm still going to give it my all and everything. And his time with the Mercedes is not over. But I will say this: Fernando Alonso, two-time F1 champion, and he's a driver for Aston Martin, made a comment the other day where he said that it's pretty, and I'm sort of paraphrasing. It's pretty evident that there are 19 drivers in the paddock who recognize that after testing this week in Bahrain, that there are going to be 19 people who will not win, who do not have a chance in winning the championship this season. In other words, Red Bull yet again has the car that is unmatched, and the former champion Max Verstappen. So it doesn't look like things are going to change this season, but I guess we'll see. So
Okay.
yeah.
See, so that was kind of like when I was doing Black History.
Yeah, you were falling asleep. It's okay. Watch. I mean, like,
No, I wasn't falling
whatever.
asleep. I'm just saying,
Okay. Then I told on myself a little bit during your Black History.
Yeah,
segment.
right.
I'm just joking.
Right.
But,
Well,
yeah.
I can't see you now because we had to shut
Yeah.
off your video because of bandwidth. But
yeah,
anyway,
sorry. So,
yeah,
but
no, that's a great. This
season will be good. It will be
and
exciting.
we can update our family, our podcast family, and
Yeah, I know they don't really
throughout the year.
care, but
Yeah,
I
they do.
take a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
mean,
pride in this.
I didn't
Segment, so.
know. I mean, I wasn't that big of a fan, but after talking to you and watching it on Netflix and then just watching some of the races,
Yeah.
I find myself really intrigued by it. It's a lot
Man,
of
let
fun.
me tell you. And what's crazy is watching some stuff from Drive to Survive from last season and seeing some of the stuff behind the scenes and the drama within the teams, the frustration of some of the drivers who have sort of been towards the bottom of the leaderboards. It's interesting because I'm sort of like, oh, as these changes happen in the off season, it's almost like I wouldn't be surprised.
Wait a minute. Sounds like you got Formula One.
Yeah, I'm on the track. Yeah.
What
You know what I mean? Sorry.
You got sound effects now? I was
Yeah,
like,
I
wow.
know, right? Exactly. There goes
I'm
Lewis
sorry.
now. It's hammer time. No, but I have a feeling like some of these other drivers are going to be moving around as spots open up and stuff.
Yeah,
so it's just interesting. Like I'm watching it now and sort of seeing like, oh, I wouldn't be surprised if this person tries to drive for this team.
Did they have they announced who's going to take Hamilton's place?
Exactly. So it's almost like and let me say
it's like
this.
musical chairs. I mean, it's like
No, for real. And let me say this: you have this young driver who this will be his 7th season, Lando Norris, drive for McLaren. He's British, and he has a lot of promise. And let me just say this: I think he's been frustrated with where McLaren has been. So I'm calling it now. I think that maybe not next, maybe not this, obviously not this upcoming season, but 2025, 2026, he may take Lewis's chair and drive with George Russell for Mercedes, which I'm sure he would love to do because Silverstone. I mean, it's a big deal for him. So we'll see what happens.
But, okay, you heard it here first.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So speaking of waiting to see what happens, we know that in our teaser we talked about the Oscars coming up in a couple of weeks. Sunday, March 10th. And I don't, it's all
we never watch all the movies
and political. I will say I haven't watched all of the movies, but I have watched 3 of them.
Okay.
And I can give you my and I think we watched together. We watched American Fiction.
Great.
With Jeffrey Wright.
Yes, love that. If you have not seen American Fiction, go see it, especially if you're Black.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I've watched Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, which I did not
see.
Scorsese
movie, and Oppenheimer,
which I also did not see.
So I will just say this: out of those 3, and I know Best Picture now you got like 10 different pictures. But out of the 3 that I've seen, I think the winner is Oppenheimer. Yeah. I do have an Oppenheimer story. If we have like I did early on with the Good Time story, but
let's see if it's just
back
funny.
in it wasn't really funny, but back in many years ago, PBS did a limited series called Oppenheimer, and it starred Sam Waterston.
There you go. Way to help him out.
I played on Law and Order. Matter of fact, his last episode on Law and Order was, I think, this past Thursday. But anyway, so Sam Waterston played Oppenheimer in the PBS series back in the 80s. And I just happened to be working at Clark Atlanta University back then. I was a liaison with a show that was being produced and shot in Georgia before, like everything was produced and shot in Georgia. It was called I'll Fly Away. And it was kind of loosely set on To Kill a Mockingbird, kind of.
Okay.
And so, he was a lawyer in a southern town. Anyway, so they used the campus a lot because it's a period piece.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone said that he wanted to see the art gallery at Clark Atlanta, which is in the basement of one of then was the administrative building. They asked me to take him down and show him. So I actually said, Mr. Watson, you want to follow me? And we went down and he walked around and he looked at the art. And I told him how, I remembered him. And this was before all of the other stuff he's done, right? This is early in his career. And I just told him what a great job he did as Oppenheimer. So I got to meet the original Oppenheimer, sort of, more or less.
Wow. Okay. Word.
Yeah. So cool. That's my Oppenheimer story.
I also saw Book of Clarence. I don't know where that stacks up in the nominations, but Book of Clarence was also very good as well with Lakeith Stanfield. Phenomenal job. So I don't know. I hope that gets nominated for something and also win something. But
yeah,
so
cool.
But I feel what is more important to not only us but also to the people listening is what you're watching, right? What you're enjoying. Who cares who wins the award? Right, unless you also enjoy the movie that won the award. But I mean, I know for us sometimes, like, the movies that win, we're sort of like, yeah, okay, or haven't seen it, or that's not really what we're necessarily drawn to, and that's not to take away from it. But we like what we like, and that's the beauty, I think, of filmmaking and television is you like what you like. So,
right.
What are you watching? Well, we know what we know what we're both watching currently.
We're both watching Love Is Blind.
Yeah, man, let me tell you, this is a good season.
Yeah,
good season. We finished all the episodes, so
we have to.
Yeah, not surprised. That. Well, yeah. If you're not locked in by now, you spoiler alert. Sorry. Not surprised that Ken and the black guy who's with the white girl.
Oh yeah.
He didn't even try to fight. You know what I mean? That boy wanted it out. He's
he broke up while he was like scrolling on his phone.
He was like, I'm looking through my emails. Listen, look, I mean, if you can't crave me, I guess, that's your problem. He gaslit the mess out of her.
Right.
And that was it. That was the end of it. Which is so funny because in the pods, we were rooting for them. Like it seemed genuine, right?
I didn't see that at all. No, I didn't see that at all.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you who messed that up.
Who?
The sister that's on the show.
Yeah.
And when they had one of those, cocktail get-togethers.
Yeah. With Jimmy. Yo, Jimmy
she pulled him aside and said,
yeah. With Ken, yeah.
Yeah, can you see yourself with a white person? I mean,
you're gonna be raising. She's gonna have to raise black kids. He got to thinking. He was like,
because he's a principal at a middle school,
he's
so he's probably started thinking about that thing. He's like, and let me tell you, his whole demeanor, everything changed
after that conversation. AD out here shaking things up,
right?
Man, yeah. And her relationship with Clay is very interesting. I don't see that lasting.
I don't either.
That's just me.
Yeah.
They're like perfect for each other, to be honest.
I think Clay is just in it for
Yeah, he just man. Let me tell you.
Look, he's like, I'm gonna get this.
I'm gonna get him on. I'm gonna get on TV. Like people gonna know who I am. And then you got somebody else just ended too. Did Jimmy and
the girl he's with
Chelsea? No. It's the one guy who went the
one that always
went to go see Sarah Ann or whatever
her
name is or something like that, and she was like, you were not in the parking lot.
He was in the parking lot at 4 or 5 in the morning. He didn't come back till 6 in the morning.
Listen,
and she knew where he was. She was like, "No,
I need these last 3 episodes to come out because it is spicing
Yeah, and
Oh
then they're
man.
throwing some of the people who were rejected back into the
Yup,
mix.
yup.
And so
Jimmy,
poor
listen,
poor
Jimmy,
Jimmy, he's
poor Jimmy. Jimmy is so dumb. Let me tell you something. Jimmy is dumb. I do think, like, now, do I think that Chelsea is a bit much? Absolutely. Like 1000%. I do.
yeah,
But
oh yeah,
at the same time, Jimmy, you're also nah, come on,
all
brother.
right.
Come on.
And to me, Jimmy looks like Bart Simpson to me. He looks like Bart Simpson and he sounds like Peyton Manning. So I was like, he
Yeah,
is
it's really
not
funny. It's
he's not
funny
like
because,
this,
like,
catch. I don't know
yeah,
why
like, yeah,
everybody's
that's what I'm saying. That's what Neil was saying. Neil was like, "Yo, they are gonna feel real bad when they realize, like, they're harping over this, like, Jimmy,
this
and he looks
Jimmy,
like
right.
this." Yeah, but then
Right.
look, Bert, man, look, they have Bert coming in, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Chelsea
yeah.
might be
And
switching
then
over.
the other one too,
Yeah, that has
that's
that
pretty.
has a 10-year-old son
Yeah,
or
that's
daughter. Sorry,
our
10-year-old
daughter.
daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
And
forget her
I
name
knew
too.
once she said that and seeing his expression, he was like,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
ain't even.
yeah, yeah,
He was like, wait a minute,
yeah.
10-year-old daughter, flight attendant, 10-year-old
Yeah,
daughter, flight
flight
attendant.
attendant who's been married before.
Well, that's cool, but hey, he ain't coming on a flight. I get free. I can go anywhere.
Exactly.
So I think he
Exactly.
was like kind of weighing that. He's like, I'm not ready. But then I mean, she is, she's attractive. So I think
Yeah, we'll see.
her whole thing was he's gonna need an EpiPen when he finds out what I
Right,
look.
right. It's gonna be temptation dangling in front of
Right.
him. I'm like, okay, but hey, it might be. So I don't know. These episodes. Listen,
I
we'll
tell
check
you,
back in after these last 3 episodes. It is gonna be crazy.
and we're just talking about because we're both watching it. We're both up to speed,
Yeah, it's
which is
locked in.
good.
Like,
And
watch the new season of Love Is Blind if you've never seen it.
so that's kind of what we've been watching. Did have, believe it or not, we've gotten some questions all the way from Jamaica.
Oh,
We have
okay.
some listeners in Jamaica. Donna wanted to know what was going on with our cousins Mark and Jan
Oh,
and the land that the railroad is trying to take from them. The land has been in the family for
right,
97 years. And I'm happy to report that still nothing's moving as far as them coming onto the land. The Public
right,
Service Commission here in Georgia, and I talked to Jan, they had the hearing last month. They're still deliberating to determine what their recommendation is going to be. And that's good news because normally they just kind of rubber stamp whatever the developer or the person that, with the money comes through. But
right,
because they have mobilized the community, they've got the Southern Poverty Law Center and some other organizations involved, that it really has been a minute. So she thinks that maybe in a couple of weeks they'll rule. Hopefully they'll rule in their favor. If they don't, there's still two different appeal processes. I mean, they still can appeal, and they have the lawyers now to do that. That's kind of where it is, waiting to see what the Public Service Commission of Georgia will determine, and then we'll know what the next move is going forward. But they are still together. Community is together, and we're just praying that the outcome is positive and the railroad will go away. So that's where we are. So thank you, Donna, from being down there where we were last episode. Right, we were in
yeah,
Montego Bay, Jamaica, and that was our second remote from there. So that was wonderful at the glorious Half Moon Resort. The next question is from James in Charlotte, North Carolina. And James
okay.
wants to know, say, what would be your number one guest if you can get anybody on the podcast? Who would you like to
Anybody
see?
ever?
Anybody.
That's
Anybody. Well, not
crazy.
anybody. I think he's probably thinking living. So
Oh
not
well,
like
yeah. I
George
mean, yeah, but
Washington,
yeah, like
or
just
Martin
anyone.
Luther King or something. Yeah.
Probably Obama. He's cool.
Obama?
I've always wanted to
Yeah.
like sit down and have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And clearly this is no surprise. Probably Lewis Hamilton as well. Like if we could get him on the pod, that'd be great.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
And Denzel.
Cool.
Those are my top three.
Denzel. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
well,
Cool.
Denzel's probably like my favorite actor, if not one. If I mean, he's one of my favorites. So
Yeah, I think Obama would be
yeah, that
really
would be top
cool.
tier.
That's an interesting question because actor wise, probably maybe because I'm a Trekkie, I would say William Shatner. Would love to get him on. We've talked
Yeah, that would be
actually
good.
about
Yeah.
getting LeVar Burton on.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so that somebody from the Star Trek franchise would be pretty cool for me.
Yeah, that's true. You do love you some Star Trek.
I love me some Star Trek, I tell you. Kamala Harris, I think, would be a great person to talk to and be on. Our vice president would love to hear and talk to her. So, but that's a good,
Yeah, that's a
that's a
great
good
question.
question, James.
Love that
Thank
question.
you,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you, thank you. We'll have to kind of,
yeah.
work towards that. Get us
Yeah, we'll
some
see.
folk on here.
You
So
know, if you can
anyway,
pull any
that's
strings, let us know. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
We
But
like
you can
listening.
also pose questions to us by going to our website at boomerandthemillennial.com. You can leave a message, an email, or a note to us, or you can actually leave a voicemail at our website, boomerandthemillennial.com. So thank you, Donna and James, for those two questions. We look forward to having this segment every episode, Armondi.
Yeah,
So,
that would be
it's pretty
wonderful. I
cool.
love
All
that. I
right.
didn't even know we had questions.
See, well, there you go. Even though social media is still a thing, or not a thing when it comes to Boomer and the Millennial. I wish I could see your face.
Wait,
You
say that
still?
one more. Wait, what?
I said we got questions, even though social media is a thing, but not
yeah.
necessarily a ththing on Boomer and the Millennial.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. Yeah, okay. Ooh, I'm getting it together, guys. I'm getting it together.
All right, okay. I'm just saying.
All right.
You can't expect the Boomer to do that. So I will try.
You couldn't even look up something on the internet. So.
There you go. See?
But you know what? Let's get up out of here because your Apple TV trials running out, and you got to finish your show.
Boy, don't you know it?
So.
Dangerfield Newbies. We want to thank you. Love that segue, right? We want to thank them for always providing our intro and outro music. And I've been reaching out. One of the people I love to see come on the show is Jamal Ahmed, who is part of the group, who stays busy. So I've reached out a couple of times. So we're going to hopefully get him on to talk about the new music that the Dangerfield Newbies are doing. But we want to thank them for music. Didn't use them last month because, of course, we had that whole Jamaican theme going.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So that was
Which
pretty
sounded
cool.
great, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So leave a voice message. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you, everybody that's subscribed. Thank you for sharing. Wherever you listen to your podcast, we are there, and we do appreciate the support and the growth of the podcast. So that's great, and we are committed to doing it. So we want to thank you for your listenership, and we are working towards, and Armondi, you know this, right? At least once a month, if not 2 times a month. But for now, we're going to be consistent with that. So this is our February show. We want to thank you. Have a great rest of the Black History Month that's left. Not much by the time the show drops, but
yeah. But still, happy Black History Month, people.
Yeah. Get your calendar so you'll know, just how much Black history there is to learn. I guess that's about it. Anything else you got left to
No, that's
talk
about
about?
it.
Yeah.
For the most part.
All right. Well, I've enjoyed it, and as always, I'm Reggie the Boomer,
and I'm Armondi the Millennial.
and we will check you out next month.
Yeah, it's Formula One in the background.
Oh yeah.
I'm right next to the street. It's terrible. It's great.
That's all right. Look forward to seeing you in a month or so.
Oh yeah, come on, Denver
All
living.
All right. Headed west.
All right, we're out.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, you hear it, don't you? It's in the background. I'm telling you every day.